That's okay. That's fine.
Hope this
What
is
you
all
got for
right.
me?
You okay with that?
It is. I'm great,
So
man.
I was curious. Good. I was curious if you could kind of break down in detail the supine cross connect. I know we had a session earlier this week where you treated one of my clients, and he's a narrow ISA, kind of A to P compressed, and you threw that at him and it seemed to work pretty well.
Yep.
And I'm curious if you could kind of tell me exactly what's going on everywhere in the body.
Let's do it. Supine position. I'm going to have you walk me through this as well, Dan. So supine position, what is that going to do to the shape of the body?
It's going to compress it A to P. So if you narrow, it's going to help him kind of. And I don't know.
Well, so it compresses A to P. So if I squish A to P because gravity is pushing down, where is stuff going to go? So it's going to expand laterally, which is useful for a narrow ISA because they need that lateral expansion. So supine position, good. Also with the supine position, according to Weisel, 1955, classic, man. Whew, such a good one. It's like the Beatles, but of research. Supine position biases more counternutation of the sacrum. And even though a narrow has a more counternutated sacrum, because you got someone who's got A to P restrictions, it's going to help encourage that posterior orientation of the pelvis, okay? So now with the next part of the supine cross connect, you got one leg extended and it's pushing into the wall. So I get a tuck and then I drive contact onto the inner heel and the first ray. So given that, what type of movement am I going to be driving at the femur on that side? If let's say it's my left leg on the wall. With the one leg extended, you're pronating into the wall. That's going to drive internal rotation on the extended leg. On the flex side, because I'm flexing the opposite leg, because I'm progressively moving into flexion on that side, there's going to be some ER bias depending on the degree of flexion that you can achieve. You might have a little bit of IR if it's kind of at 90. If it's getting past that, then you're going to drive more ER. But the key is I'm going to be turning my sacrum towards the flex side, which is going to be that right there. So essentially, if I got left leg extended, right leg flexed, sacrum is going to turn towards the flex leg, in this case, the right. So I'm going to encourage a rightward turn of the pelvis. If I'm turning, I get A to P expansion. That's the key. It's going to be a little bit more A on the left leg in this case, a little bit more P posterior on the flex leg, even though this is a little bit more of an IR bias, but you got to think of comparison. As I move up top, I'm reaching with the opposite arm. So I'm reaching at a low reach, which is going to give me some posterior expansion, but I'm also turning my body to the right because I'm reaching forward. So essentially, with that, you're getting the entire spine, Ted here to show us, to turn to the right. So if I'm getting a turn to the right, that's going to generally encourage more anterior expansion on the left and more posterior expansion on the right, which will improve a wide variety of measures. Then we do it on both sides. You're working on the opposite thing. Now you're going to have some different twisting here and there. For example, because I'm keeping the head facing forward, as I turn the body to the right, the head's going to be turning left, so the expansion is going to change a little bit differently. Okay. Dan's follow-up, are you reaching the elbow forward or bringing it towards the knee? I generally will reach it forward with the supine version because I don't want that curl up, especially in the beginning. A lot of times when people do cross connects in the beginning, if they don't have good intersegmental motion, they're just going to orient the thorax as one unit and they're not going to get expansion. So